Now, this could be a decisive year for Iran. It started with protests that spread across the country, and although the authorities say they're waning, they've taken some extreme steps to try and douse down the flames of discontent. They've blocked access to the messaging app Telegram and made thousands of arrests. Now, one trigger for those protests was a leaked government budget, which cuts subsidies and hikes up fuel prices while significantly increasing military spending. Iran is ramping up financial support to proxies across the region, which has fueled the anger of some Iranians concerned about the state of their own economy. And it's fueled anxieties across much of the world. BBC Persian's Jiyar Gol now investigates.
In towns and cities across Iran, poverty, unemployment and corruption have drawn tens of thousands to the streets to protest against the Islamic regime. These are not the only reasons for the protest. There is also disquiet about the billions spent on Iran's foreign adventurism. No to interference in Lebanon, they are chanting. No to Gaza. Leave Syria. Think of us. The supreme leader lives like a god. We, the people, live like beggars. Over the past 3 decades, Iran has spent billions of dollars in an attempt to increase its influence in the region. Tehran now controls a route all the way to the Mediterranean via Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. And Iran is involved in a devastating proxy war with Saudi Arabia in Yemen.
The Iranian expansionism is extraordinarily dangerous. First of all, they have Shia groups throughout the region that they can rely on, that they can, if you will, convert or infiltrate.
And the man responsible for Iran's military operations in the Middle East is General Qasem Soleimani, the commander of the elite Quds Force, a unit of Iran's Revolutionary Guards, which operates on foreign soil, organizing, training, and funding militia groups. A man feared by many and labeled as a supporter of terrorism by the US, General Soleimani, who once operated in the shadows, is now one of the most powerful commanders in the region.
He played Al-Qaeda. He was the man in charge all the way through. He was always one step ahead of them. He used them. They helped him in his regional designs on where he wanted to go with the Quds Force and with Iran.
To understand the power and influence of General Soleimani and the Quds Force, you have to go to the Iran-Iraq border. In 2001, when the US attacked Afghanistan, many Al-Qaeda members came to this mountainous area to establish a foothold. They set up bases, but 2 years later, they were bombed by the US. Amanj Naqshbandi is one of the prominent members of the local Sufi order, a peaceful branch of Islam. He claims Iran assisted the Sunni extremists who survived the bombings. But why would a Sunni extremist group like Al-Qaeda, an arch enemy of Shia Iran, cooperate with Qasem Soleimani? Kathy Scott Clark has interviewed former Al-Qaeda members who lived in Iran about their dealings with Quds Force.
Iran was an enemy of America. Iran was nearby. The people who negotiated from the Al-Qaeda side believed that Iran saw the Quds Force saw this as an opportunity, A, to know where the Al-Qaeda Shura members were. If you know where they are and you're controlling them, then you can use them.
CIA documents declassified in November, which were recovered from Osama bin Laden's compound in Pakistan, shed a new light on how Iran helped Al-Qaeda against the US in Iraq.
Some of those documents suggest Iran has had pragmatic relationship with Al-Qaeda. The documents suggest Iran and Al-Qaeda have been helping each other in Syria and Iraq.
In 2011, when President Obama pulled out from Iraq, I was in Baghdad. The next day, the picture of Iran's supreme leader was posted in Baghdad's main square. Most Shia militias were more loyal to Qasem Soleimani than the Iraqi government. Vali Nasr is an academic and former foreign policy advisor to President Obama's administration on Iran.
Part of why Iran has been so successful in the region is because they've played this game of maneuvering between different factions, relying on the one that is most naturally their constituency, but yet build relations with the other side, play them against one another.
In October, Qasem Soleimani's father passed away. We examined the footage and pictures of the funeral just to understand what kind of people attended the funeral. For example, one of them was Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, the leader of Shia militias in Iraq, Hashd Sha'bi. Another person was representative of Hamas. And many other people came, attended to express their condolences in person to him. It shows how powerful and influential he is.
General Soleimani financed, trained, and equipped thousands of Shia militias to support Iran's allies in Syria and Iraq, including Lebanese Hezbollah, a group which is also on the US terrorist list. Its leader says Iran pays the bill.
نحن يا خيي على راس السطح موازنة حزب الله ومعاشاته ومصاريفه وأكله وشربه وسلاحه وصواريخه من الجمهورية الإسلامية في إيران. طالما بإيران في فلوس يعني نحن في عنا فلوس. هتكون شفافية أكتر من هيك.
It's been estimated that Iran has spent $6 billion annually on the Syrian regime, basically to keep it afloat. And some other, actually this is a conservative estimate, proxy group, the Lebanese Hezbollah, Iran is estimated to be allocating $1 billion a year to the group, mostly according to Israeli intelligence forces.
General Soleimani says if Iran does not engage with enemies outside the country's borders, it will have to fight them in the streets of Tehran. As he tells his fighters on the Syrian front line, he is committed to expanding Iran's regional influence.
خدا چرا امروز به جمهوری اسلامی پیروزی میده؟ من معتقدم این پیروزی ها روز به روز بزرگتر و وسعتش بیشتر خواهد شد. چه امریکا چه سعودی بخواهد کاری نمیتونه کاری انجام.
But at home, protesters on the streets are tearing down General Soleimani's banner. They are warning the tens of billions of dollars spent popping up Assad in Syria and financing Shia militias across the Middle East must be invested in their country and their future.
Jiyar Gol reporting there. We asked to speak to the Iranian government about that report, but they declined to comment.